Hi students, welcome to Module 5. In this week, I'm going to review business interpreting and translations. So some of the objectives that we're going to go over are talking a little bit about how translators and interpreters were caught off guard when COVID happened and how many things changed in terms of the way interpreting was done for rapid response scenarios. We'll go over the practice exercises. You're going to have some practice exercises with no submission. Business plan interpreting, you did some in the previous module. Now you're going to get to practice consecutive or simultaneous interpreting, wherever is your comfort level. And you're also going to get to practice some senses video subtitles. This is a project that I worked for one of my clients as a freelancer, and that is for a marketing advertising agency. So we'll look at that scenario. Describe what your class exercise 5 is related to your Toys R Us business translation that you did in the previous module. So now you have to have an audio in which I'm going to be grading you for your intonation and how do you pronounce the words in Spanish? Are you pronouncing the accents where they're going? And then a discussion. So just like students send me pictures of bloopers. In this case, I wanted to talk about good translations. I know I was bombarded with a lot of translations during rapid response and COVID of erroneous misspelling, grammar mistakes left and right. But I also received some good translations, some photos. So this was a good translation from Target and the Starbucks. They were using the correct subject verb agreement. So I just wanted to point out how important it is to always proof and make sure that it has the consistency. Remember the McDonald's case that I mentioned. So just be mindful of those syntax and maintaining the same subject verb agreement. Now, in the previous module, you got to practice a written translation. You did not have to submit it, but I gave you the Spanish copy so that you could see how the SBA had translated the guidelines for a business plan. Now you're going to be provided with the audio. You can pause it. I read the audio, so you can pause it, and then you can translate either in consecutive or simultaneous with that audio. Also very important as you're practicing, you can always hit the pause button if you feel that I spoke too fast, or if you feel comfortable, then just keep going, because I leave a pause between some sentences and the next for you to be able to interpret. And then again, want to point out that by now you did your side interpreting. You had some opportunities to practice consecutive and simultaneous. So from your assessment that you did, very mindful that you're being very truthful for where you are right now. But I also want to push you to out of your comfort area. So if you feel very, very comfortable with doing consecutive, so step it up and start doing some simultaneous, especially those of you that are in the legal apprenticeship program and already have experiences working in immigration or other law firms, to really challenge yourself and do simultaneous. For marketing, I wanted to point out the dangers of working in marketing campaigns or advertising campaigns when it comes to not proofing. So this was billboards, a series of billboards that were posted in Santa Barbara and Ventura County during COVID. And I want you to look at this, and I want you to think what are some of the translations mistakes here. There's like 5 of them. Is something misspelled? Is something maybe, well, don't want to give it away. It's something maybe with a J instead of a G. So just make sure that you read it. What is missing? Maybe a quotation mark, or is the punctuation correct? So take a look at this one, because this was all over billboards and transportation, public transportation, and this has tremendous mistakes. So take a look at that. No submission is just for you to start being alert and start proofing, and then we'll discuss it in module 6, what is wrong with these translations. And then also during rapid response, what happened. A lot of the agencies, they were using in-house interpreters. Remember in module 3, I went over the differences of being a translator and in-house interpreter. So many of these agencies, this is by Orange County health agencies, they started posting videos and doing a lot of it in written translations as well. But there were major flaws. So I wanted to take a look at this and see what is missing, even though there's just a few words in there that pop up on the screen for that video. What was missing, and what does that do to your campaign of targeting Latinos in the correct language. You also have a census video here, in which I had to do this for a client. I had to do the voiceover for the census had a campaign during 2020, so it was very difficult to do that when people were social distancing. So take a look at this. You can play the translation, and it's also going to be, you could see the Spanish subtitles. It's also going to be in the module. And I posted here the service, public service announcement, or the PSA public service announcement, 30-second script. And I want you to try to see if you can translate. There's English uh, subtitles here that are gonna pop up, and then when you hit on the play, I don't have my audio set right now, but you're gonna see you're gonna hear the actual commercial, and then you're going to try to practice. You don't need to do any submissions. Like, what would be the first subtitle there in English that is captioned? What would that say in Spanish, and so forth? So for my other class, they do have to submit this assignment, but I wanted to give you I wanted to show you some of the assignments that we work in the class that again, they don't have to be taken in order, but in my other BA 131 business interpreting, what type of translations that we do. But I like to post it here to also expose my students of some of the other areas where you could be working with marketing agencies or advertising agencies. Very important to keep practicing the tilde diacritica. So you only have 5 questions. It's a quick self-check quiz. In this module, you're going to have 3 assignments. In the previous modules, you only had 2. But this one is very simple. It's because I really want for you to memorize them and know the differences. So it's just going to ask you for 5. And each one is worth 40 points. So this is just another self-check. Reminder, to always, interrogativos en español llevan acento, así que tienen que, por favor, tomar en cuenta cuando estén haciendo sus traducciones, que todos los interrogativos tienen acentos. And that's one of the mistakes that students make when doing written translations. You did a great job in doing your business Toys R Us news article translation from English to Spanish. Please make sure I write notes for you and give you feedback in your Canvas assignment. Make sure that you read the feedback. I write with my iPad pencil, and I mark all the things that, if I tell you a word, this is not the correct word, or I give you points out for maybe using not translating millones, miles de millones, because I had it in the previous module. I had in the video lecture mistakes not to make. So if you made those mistakes, that means to me that you did not listen to the video lecture. So I deducted points for those mistakes. Okay, for not having translated billones, eran miles de millones. No haber puesto artículos, por ejemplo, la competencia o los competidores and things like that. So make sure that you review the corrections that I made, and that you know why it is that I took off points from your assignment. Also this week, you'll need to read and record an audio of that translation, so that I know how is your pronunciation of the Spanish language. If you're giving intonation, if you're accentuating when you cuando están hablando, si están indicando y están pronunciando bien los acentos. You have a discussion on the skills for listening, because listening is very important where you're doing interpreting. Very important, is key. So here is an excellent video that I want you to comment on how important are these listening skills, and why did they compare it to musicians, right? The rubric, always check the rubric so that you could see. I know some of you said, why did you deduct this? So in the rubric, it's there. One of the things that has come up is some of you are saying, hey, I didn't get the full points in the discussion. And I know you posted an amazing discussion, a lot of self-reflection, critical thinking. I mean, excellent written. You're sharing your own experiences with language and your own family, but you did not do two replies. So if you do not do two replies, you failed at the weekly discussion. So that's why. So and it says there in the rubric that I give you 0 points because you did not write two replies. Also, my pet peeve, do not write I in lowercase. Every time you do, I'm going to take out 10 points from anything that you write, even if it's just in the discussion. Please get into the habit of writing proper grammar, because it's also going to be a recurrent issue when you do written translation. So make sure you get into the habit of writing proper grammar. Again, some of you are having a difficulty with Microsoft 365. Make sure that you contact someone in Canvas or in your self-service at ZAC so that you can download your Microsoft, your free Microsoft Word 365, the whole suite of programs that are available for you. Yes, do download the Canvas app. You can communicate, readily available for you on your smartphone. And Pronto is not mandatory. That's only if you want to participate in the class chat. Some people download it into their phones. They get notifications. Some people just take a look at their desktop when and they also get alerted that there's a message from the students there. You have a quiz, so this module is going to be a little bit heavier than other modules because this module, you have a quiz for modules 3 and 4, and there's no surprises. I gave you the study guide correction. This quiz is due at the end of module 6, so you have an extra week. Okay, you have an extra self-check, very simple. Then you have an extra week to complete your quiz, and the study guide reminder that is in module 4. Start listening for the audios. The audios, I started posting them as of week 2. I provide you with weekly audios so that you can know, give you the heads up, or also remind you of important dates that are coming up at the college or with this class. So make sure that you take advantage of all the practice, even though you don't have to do submission, that you take a look at those scenarios that I explain more in terms of advertising and marketing and working with public relations. You're going to see some notes there in the resources. There's some challenges because even though it's a small text, that's why I wanted to share the one with the census video commercial, because even though it's just not a lot of text, it takes a lot of time and it's very complex to translate to Spanish because the Spanish language is very rich. So finding those 2-3 words that are going to make an impact and have the same significance that the client wants them to have in English is very challenging. So that's why I want you to take a look at those practice exercises, and then the following week I will post what was wrong with the billboards in Santa Barbara and Ventura County, and also the translation for the census commercial. Have a great week.